the first person to like, comment, share, what I'll do, I'll give you a free t-shirt, right? A free coaching session, right? I'll do whatever your comment says. I'll make a video or a song based off of your comment, right? Based off your comment request, right? And so you have people doing this kind of conditions people to come back to the platform, conditions them to go to your page first when they come back to the platform. And then it also, it plays on the whole, what's the word for it? Mentality, like TV show. I'm waiting for this episode to drop mentality, right? Where you'll have a bunch of cult people excited to watch and see, like, let me get on this whenever it drops. So yeah, do that. You should not be working a regular 9-to-5 job. Nobody should. Those suck. The only things that specialize are insects, and they don't even specialize. Work is painful because the human body wasn't meant to do it. And I'm all for it as long as you know you're going to be retiring in a comfortable way, living the life of your dreams after you put in a couple years of hard work. But if you can't do that, what's the point? No, like, lock in with me here for real, for a second. Think about our ancestors. They worked from sun up to sundown, but they worked outside. Hunter-gatherers, and the array of experiences they would encounter every single day would be so vastly different. You're going to be locked up in a cubicle, editing spreadsheets, sending emails. No, I don't want to do that. You shouldn't want to do it either. It's not normal. It's not natural. And listen, I understand that work is important. Some people just have to work. Our society runs off of people who work, right? But the development of the human body is not consistent with the work that people do today. You're going to spend a third of your life, 8 hours every single day for 40 years looking at black and white lines on a screen, sending emails. No, right? So what's the alternative? Create content, start a business, do something that gives you a vision, a possibility of getting out of what you're trying to do. Do not depend on the government Social Security. Don't do it, right? Have a 401k, right? Start a business. Do something that will get you out of where you're at right now. Because let's be real, everyone's trying to claw their way out of their current status into a higher one. If you're not doing it actively, it's not going to happen to you passively. This is exactly how to get your personal brand to stand out from all the noise and grow in a crazy, drastic, ridiculous way. If you want a free profile or comment review, leave the link to your page here in content reviews. That can be found in my school, which is now open, so you should go join. This lady on Instagram has grown 524,000 followers in 2 months. Ridiculous. She started off by doing a content series, 60 Days to Prove My Boss Smashing This Can be more effective than his entire marketing strategy. What's different about her and all the other people who do this is that she began to upgrade the content itself. Here she is smashing with a bowling ball, a bat, a club. Is that a freaking excavator? She even made merch. Don't be like Mike, who's the boss. So if you're going to try this content strategy, you need a couple things. First thing you're going to need is a mission, a relatable mission. To her, it was proving her boss wrong, proving that this can, or doing this mundane action, would be better than his overly complicated marketing strategy. First could be proving that it's possible to ace an exam with only 3 hours of study. The next thing you'll need is an enemy, and the enemy for her was her boss. Enemy for you could be, if I don't ace this exam, I'm going to get a D and then I'm going to drop out. The last thing you need is a time frame. She had 60 days left to prove to her boss, or else she'd get fired at the end of 60 days. This tells people this isn't something that's going to happen indefinitely. This is something that's actually got an end, so it's worth my time to be here. Here's a content tip that absolutely changed my life when I heard it, and I hope it does the same for you. I remember about this time last year, two of my friends, Katie and Mino, made a project called Project 129, where the goal was for an absolutely ordinary person to make $300,000 within the space of 129 days. It was entirely their idea. I helped them a tiny little bit with the Discord, but they got so many people into that Discord and just on board, ready to go. People will suspend their disbelief if you make them feel heard. And this is because we really don't know what is and what isn't out there. And if someone makes us feel like they've been on the same journey as we have and they felt the things that we felt, they can get us to believe in absolutely delusional things. This is exactly how gurus and course sellers work. They tell you their story. I was working at Chick-fil-A. I wanted to drop out of college. And that makes you feel heard. And when you feel heard, you are much more likely to do what they tell you to do with your money and with your time. Costco is stealing your money whenever you buy a rotisserie chicken. See, Costco keeps the chicken in the back where you have to walk by everything else. You're not getting out of there with just a chicken. Trust me, I tried. I was the blackest black guy in that entire. And they also keep the milk back there by the chicken. So if your dad left to go get the milk, he's probably still it. People are angry at Costco about the rotisserie chicken. And it's not because they're changing the price, but because they're changing the packaging. See, to me, Costco represents what capitalism is supposed to be because they do really cool stuff that other companies don't do. In January, members of a Costco unionized for the first time in 20 years. And instead of maintaining their corporate dignity and doubling down with punishments like Starbucks and Amazon, Costco apologized. Do you know how big that is? That's like if people rose up against the government and the government was like, sorry, we'll try to do a better job. We messed up. Governments don't do that. Let me give you another example, and the main reason I actually have a membership. The Costco hot dog. It's a glorious beacon of the indomitable American spirit. The CEO tried to change the price of the hot dog to match inflation, and this is a true story, by the way. The founder looked at the CEO and said, if you raise the price on the hot dog, I will end you. Somebody needs to make an edit of this guy. So when Costco changes anything even slightly, like the packaging, it's like when your dad that you look up to and you trust makes a mistake or acts inconsistently. You're like, no, don't do that. Because you trust them and you hold them to a higher standard. Amazon.com does terrible things all the time and nobody even bats an eye. So if you're going to support a business, or you're going to start a business, or you're going to start creating content, which you should, please remember Costco, because it's one thing to focus on making a ton of money or being the best inside of your niche. It's another thing entirely to have standards and a reputation that money simply can't buy. If you're having a really hard time trying to decide what style of post you should make, how much time you should spend on a post, and how often you should post per day, I'm going to explain to you exactly how quantity and quality work and how you can apply it to your unique situation, so you'll know exactly how much time to spend creating content. You'll be able to put out content that actually goes viral, and you won't be burnt out by trying to reach some crazy standard of like 20 posts a day. If you haven't met, I've been helping people grow on social media for the past 3 years. I've been creating content for the past 8. Go ahead and drop a follow, and then check out my funnel if you want to know how to grow and monetize with social media and do it easily. So a lot of people will say quality over quantity. The issue with quality over quantity is that quality is different in the mind of every single person. If I ask one person what quality means, he says, well, it means that I have really good lighting. And then if I ask somebody else, they're like, well, I need to have these animated captions on my video. But you as a creator have definitely seen videos that were seemingly low quality or low effort, didn't take much time to make, that still went viral. And you've undoubtedly spent hours on a piece of content trying to make it good, and then it just flops and gets like 500 views. My personal belief is that how much your audience appreciates the content determines how quality the content is. So if you make a post that took you 10 seconds to make and 1,000, 1,000,000 people appreciate it, that was a quality post. And if you make a post that took you 4 hours to make and like 100 people do not appreciate it, that wasn't a quality post. So the only way to actually figure out what is quality is to hit a baseline and then post a ton at that baseline and then see if there's anything that can be improved. A really great example is like lighting, for example. I have a lighting baseline. I like to use 2 lights, right? I won't just use one light like here. I'll use 2 lights and then I'll have my backlight. So this is kind of like a baseline. I'll make sure that my head is in the frame, kind of like down here, above here. I'll have captions that are super simple. I will edit out any gaps inside of my video so that people don't really feel like I'm wasting their time. And I will have a hook, a super hook that describes exactly what people are going to get out of the video. Once I do that, I feel like that's a good baseline of quality, and then I can just roll off ideas as many as I want. Like these videos take me maybe 5 to 6 minutes to make and upload. And doing this, I made a video that took me like 5 minutes to make and it got me 6 million views. But when I spend like 4 or 5 hours on one post, maybe it'll crack 5,000 views. Maybe it won't. And the views aren't the only important thing too. When I'm making